What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Crafters Live. I'm David Wilson. We're back again with another Friday stream where we get together as a community and talk about whatever topic I've come up with for the week, especially one that's going to annoy people because I normally talk about geeks on this channel, but we're going to talk about OpenBSD this week. So prepare yourself for that, I guess, if you are the type who doesn't want to hear about it. I had a kind of a expression of shock in the IRC right before the stream, so this is why I'm laughing about it. Anywho, we're here. We're not 10 minutes late. We're 9 minutes late. Just the way things go on Friday afternoons, you know. Got a whole day at work. And you got to go pick up your kid who likes to come home and start screaming immediately to eat a banana. And you don't have any bananas. So they just keep screaming. And what are you supposed to do? I mean, it's a kid. 2-year-olds don't listen to reason. So you can't really, you know, have your life perfectly ordered on the lines of a schedule. But of course, I would probably have some other excuse if I was late and it wasn't because of screaming kids. So what can you do? You know, this is just System Crafters. You're used to it by now, right? Let's say hello to the people who are here so far as I turn the air conditioner down because it's 38 degrees in Greece right now, which is awesome. Really awesome, I have to say. Let's see, over in the live chat, we have Faye, Cherry. Hey, Cherry, I haven't seen you in a while. Big Edie, Chum Cha. Chum Cha says, we're not late, we're just on Davy Wheel time. Kind of like that. Leonix, Jeff. Uncle Jay, Zayman. Let's see, over on the YouTube side, I see RD and Ed and Ashraz. Did I say Ashraz over on the other side? No, I didn't say Ashraz. Ashraz is there, just in a different persona on the IRC side. So, for those of you who don't know, the chat that you see up on the screen, which is not super active at the moment, is coming from IRC. So if you go to irc.libra.chat to the System Crafters -live channel, or just go to systemcrafters.net/live. What did I just do? Live, and there's an embedded chat widget there. You can watch the stream and also participate in the IRC there as well. But basically, if you want to show up on the chat widget up here, just go to one of those places. I still need to get the chat bridge stuff working again. We'll see. You know, this is the kind of thing that keeps coming up, and it never really materializes. Mainly because Twitch is still providing me with complications. Hello to Urat and to Tatamag. Tatamag says, hi from the sweltering north. I've heard that it's gotten quite hot, relatively speaking, in the northernmost countries. It's 38 here. I heard it's probably somewhere between 25 to 30 in the places up there. So that must be hot, but it's real hot here. I'm literally sweating right now as I'm talking to you with an air conditioner blowing on me. All right. Ashra says, Twitch is behind YouTube today. That's pretty surprising. Ashra says, if I'm not me, then who am I? I don't know, maybe any of the 2 or 3 other people you are. Hey, Dave, nice to see you. Dave says, Twitch is often bjorked by state change. Well, pretty much anything is bjorked by state change. But isn't state change just natural? It's just part of everything. Dave says, I had to reload the Twitch site. Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Dominic. Okay. So, I really don't know what the news is because I've been busy this week. I've been working at a job and it's been going well. I'm enjoying it. It's a great place, great people. But it has been taking all of my attention because I've only been there for 3 weeks and I have to like ramp up on all kinds of stuff and investigate some really interesting and sometimes frustrating issues. So I'm a little bit out of it. So if people in the chat have suggestions on what the news would be in the relevant realm of system crafting this week, I would certainly be interested to hear about it. I'm trying to think if I heard of anything myself, and I can't think of anything. That's sort of the problem with, you know, using Emacs every day, but being so settled in your workflow with Emacs that you're not really looking at anything new anymore. That you have to start digging for old stuff, which is basically what I've been doing for the past year. Just digging for all the old stuff that's in Emacs. Speaking of which, I think it was last week, right, that we talked about the built-in completion system. I have actually been using it this week. It's been going fine. Just like everything else that I say that I start using in Emacs, it's fine. It's been going fine. I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest. Is it on here right now, I wonder? I've definitely been using it on my personal machine and my dev machine for work. Where is my cursor? There it is. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on this one. Nope, that's vertical, what you call it? FIDO vertical mode, at any rate. I don't use this particular computer that you're looking at, except for on streams, so it's not up to date, but I have been using it, and I guess what it takes some getting used to is, like, you hit Meta X and you get that list pop up immediately in front of you, you kind of get dependent on it a little bit, like seeing the stuff that's in there, and if you don't have that, then you have to think for a moment sometimes about what it is you're looking for. But actually, with the completion systems, or sorry, with the completion styles that I've got in place in my configuration, I often get the thing that I'm looking for the first time. I had to tweak things a little bit, but it does feel pretty good now, I think. I'm going to stick with it for a while and see how it goes. I'm so far away from like Vertigo and Consult and all those good packages now that it's kind of weird. And if I were to ever go back to them, I would probably just never want to leave again because they're so good. But I don't know. It's fun. It's fun trying to experiment with different workflows in Emacs, especially ones that seem to be less efficient than others, but they are still efficient. They would have to be. Ed says, I'm also 3 weeks into a contract. It's tiring getting up to speed on other people's systems. It's really difficult, especially if there's a lot of code and a lot of different repositories that all kind of link together, and you have to try to trace the sort of chain of responsibility of certain things, or the flow of how something goes to the system, or anything like that. It becomes pretty challenging to keep all that in your head at the same time. But it's fun. It's a good challenge. I like it. Let's see. Praveen says, do you know ACL2? What is your opinion on several Lisp implementations? What is ACL2? I'll tell you another thing, though, after I look at what this is. What is ACL2? Computational logic for applicative common Lisp. I keep hearing about applicative languages. Let's see. Side effect free variant of common Lisp. I've literally never heard of this before. There's a theorem prover. ACL2's base theory axiomatizes. Axiomatizes. Man, that's a mouthful. The semantics of its programming language and built-in functions. User definitions in the programming language satisfy a definitional principle. Extend the theory in a way that maintains the theory's logical consistency. So basically what you're saying is it's like the most dogmatic language possible. Not to say that in a bad sense. I'm just saying, like, you know, people tend to like languages like Rust because the checker or all the static analysis tools are so rigid and try to keep you going down the straight and narrow path in a very dogmatic sense, you know, pulling some religious terminology into it. This also sounds like it's kind of like that, in the sense that you have to define things in a way that are irrefutable and logically consistent. I don't know. Is that I'm sure it has value somehow, but that's just not the way I operate, dude. Like, I need messy languages. I need to make sloppy code and iterate fast and not really know where I'm headed until I get there. So I can't do that with a language like this, that it sounds like it's intended for you to, like, have thought about everything really hard up front and then write it out as if it's a perfect specification. Not to say that it's a bad thing. It's just not my style. I mean, we write Emacs lists, for God's sake. It's kind of like the sloppiest environment you could possibly think of. But it's fun. It's great. Oh, hello, no-namer. If you're the no-namer that I'm thinking of, unless you're just putting a random name in the box. Let's see. I don't know if that answered your question, Praveen. I will say, though, I've been having a little bit of fun working with Janet again recently. I don't know if you remember us talking about Janet some time back. It's basically very Clojure and Lua and Scheme and Lisp inspired language that's easy to embed in a C application. Has a lot of stuff, like a lot of data structures built in, like, hash tables and arrays and vectors and things like that. Fade says Clojure JVM. It's a little bit different than Clojure. It's a bit more minimal, but I think I like the minimalism of it. I would say it's more like Clojure flavored Lua. I know that Fennel is basically that because it's a transpiler to Lua, but I think, so the guy who wrote Fennel left that project and wrote Janet, if that tells you anything. So basically, he's a Lua expert and then decided to make his own language that's kind of Lua-like, but has Lisp semantics and also is very inspired by Clojure, or at least the syntax of Clojure. I don't know. The conciseness of some of the things you can write in the language is pretty impressive. It's basically everything that I wanted to do with the language mesh that I was working on. And I was very heavily thinking about getting back into that project over the last couple of weeks. And then I just decided, hey, let's just look at Janet again. And I was reminded that if I was going to spend my time somewhere, like trying to write like hacky little projects like games or whatever, I'd probably just better use this instead of trying to use or trying to continue working on mesh, because there's a lot of work left to do there. It's a fun project, but it's kind of like pointless in a way when the ultimate goal is to write applications. So better just use the language that's already there. What about Scheme? Well, Scheme's great, but in a strange way, Scheme is super verbose compared to something like this. And it just feels like I have to type so much more to get the same job done. So I don't know. I'm not saying anything bad about Scheme. I love Scheme. It's like my favorite language. But this one is kind of a good one for just playing around, I think, and having some fun, which is kind of what you need sometimes. You need to be able to have fun with programming. Okay, Ravine says, yes, I use Janet and also Fennel. Yeah, I've used Janet more than Fennel, I would say. Fennel is very nice, especially if you are in an environment that actually uses Lua. Let me see what people are saying in the chat. On the other side, let's see. Ashra says, one of my projects got a PR that told me about %G and %V for format time string. Not really news, but those formats come in handy in said project. Well, what is that? Because I don't know that I've heard about those. Let's see. Format time string, % what? G. Okay, 2025. Does it do something special? And then V 30. Is that like padded somehow? Like what's the difference on those, Ashraz? Let's see. Artie says, talk about using VC instead of Magit. I use VC like 95% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, and I only pull out Magit whenever I need to do some refactoring or some commit fix-ups. Basically just refactoring, rebasing. I consider rebasing to be the combination of things like squash and fix up and dropping commits and things like that. Just basically reordering commit history and merging things together and splitting it up and whatever. I only pull Magit out for that these days. But when I do, I remember how good the interface is and I kind of want to use it, but I'm still kind of committed to using VC primarily. And for most things, VC is just fine. VC is built in. So basically, if you use Control X PV in a Git repo, which window am I in? I've got one keyboard that's driving two different computers, and I forget which one I'm on in a given moment. All right, so Control X PV in a project folder, and you basically get the status window for your current thing, your current project. If you press the equal sign, you get the diff. And you could do stuff in the diff. You can like exclude hunks and split hunks and do all kinds of stuff like that before you make commits. You can do all the stuff that you want to do. It works fine. It's not the most pleasant experience. It's not the best interface, but it does work. The one thing I don't really do well in VC that I just need to spend some time learning better is like looking at logs, like commit logs, and then digging into the actual diff of the commit logs. I'm sure that's possible. It's just I haven't figured out the right pattern for that yet. But it hasn't been enough of a problem for me. And I would probably just like jump into Magit if I needed to do that. Let's see. Cherry says, I prefer Hippie Expand versus something like Corfu for that reason too. I tend to remember things more. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I haven't really used Corfu a whole lot, but I actually have barely used Hippie Expand. I probably should use it a bit more. Redacted says, we don't do prep work here. No, we do not do prep work here. Uncle Jay says, the best messy language is object-oriented Perl. Object-oriented, jeez. And LeftPad says to Uncle Jay, that's write-only code. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've never really written any substantive amount of Perl, but it just seems like the kind of language that you would have to scratch your head a little bit whenever you came back to look at it again. Redacted says, did Janet arrays start at 1? I don't remember. They might. They might. Let's see. Dave says, last time I looked at Janet, it seemed like they made many odd language design choices. Yeah, I think it's because of the Lua influence. However, I actually appreciate some of the things that they do that's weird because it's really, it seems really geared towards hack value as a language. There's a lot of simplicity in there and kind of messiness that you can build things on top of in a way that is harder to do in Scheme. Because by default in Scheme, you get hygienic macros or hygienic syntaxes, and those are typically harder to write than just plain old macros. And there are a number of things in the language of Janet that are meant to make more powerful macros that are not hygienic easier to write, or I guess more convenient to write, I guess, the way that you can create top-level bindings in certain cases, or assign metadata to functions that do certain things. There's a few different things for that. I've been experimenting with it a little bit, and I feel like if you want a language that lets you write macros that can do some pretty powerful stuff, like creating DSLs and things of that nature, you can do that. You can also pretty easily hook into the module system of Janet to make your own module type. So if like you wanted to create your own sub-language in Janet, it would be pretty easy to do that. And you could import your sub-language code into a Janet module and call into it. I mean, it's still Janet in the end, but you've basically created your own kind of DSL on top of macros. Not that you would want to do that, but let's say if you wanted to make like a mini scripting language for a game that doesn't have all the features of Janet itself, you could do that. And that's something I might do in a game jam at some point in the future. Or as an actual game. I got some ideas that are rolling around in the back of my head. You know, Big Edie said something very dangerous either last week or the week before, whenever it was, about Flux Harmonic coming back. And that wasn't really on my radar, but then I started thinking about it. It kind of started eating at the back of my mind. And I started thinking about doing some Flux Harmonic again. I don't know that I'll do it, but I've got an approach that might work if I were to do it. And the goal would just basically be to write some games and just put them out there for free, but kind of show the whole process of making them. Maybe as streams or maybe as videos. I don't know. Could be both. Let's see. I know we're still talking. Cherry says VC seems cool for one-off workflow like add plus commit plus push to commit specific hunks. I prefer Magit interface. Yeah, it's very convenient for just like committing a couple files. But staging hunks actually is not that hard in VC, but they don't make it obvious how you're supposed to do it. So you're basically in the diff and you're using K to get rid of the hunks you don't want, and using Control-C, Control-S to split a hunk into two, and then removing the parts you don't want. And then in that same diff, you create the commit from there. So if you press the equal sign sort of like at the top of the buffer, the VC status buffer, whatever it's called, it will give you the diff of all the current files that are in the buffer, the ones that are registered anyway. And then you can kind of go through that whole diff and just like get rid of the stuff you don't want and then create a commit from within the diff. And that's usually the process I use for doing partial commits, let's say, where I'm trying to get rid of certain things out of individual files. Left Bad says Perl is a cat's language because walking over the keyboard leads to some kind of valid Perl code. That doesn't sound good though. Ed says, I recall VC having a do next VC action button, which seemed useful with CVS subversion. The Git workflow seems more complex. Well, if you have cases where you want to commit just one file, like in your .files repository, or like in my case, editing a show notes file before I commit it for the stream, Control X VV in the file will add it to the staging area effectively, and then Control X VV again will make a commit for it, and then Control X V capital P will push it. So you can do all that from in the file buffer without having to go to the status buffer, which is kind of nice. You can do that with Magic too, I'm pretty sure, but it's just something you can do pretty easily with VC if you need to. You don't need to pull up Magic just to do something like that if you want. Dave says, my spicy take is that Janet looks like Lisp if it were bad. Well, I don't know. I can see why you would say that, but I'm kind of charmed by it at the same time. So maybe I can sway you by showing you some nice looking Janet code at some point once I've written some. Redacted says there doesn't seem to be much reason to use VC over what appears to be the superior Magic. And Ashra says minimalism. That's basically it. Just trying to live off the land and not use so many community packages. Not that that is something you should do. It's just something I decided to do because probably I was bored and needed a new challenge. So why not just try to like get rid of all the stuff that makes Emacs more useful? Yeah, so make your life harder. If you're bored, the solution is to make your life harder. If there's anything that you're gonna learn from this channel, it's that. If you're bored, just make your life harder and you will not be bored anymore, okay? I have some other suggestions along that end that don't have anything to do with computers, but I won't bring them up here. Just the point is, if things are too easy because the software you use is too convenient and too good, and you get bored because it's too easy, then make it harder. And then tell other people about it, and then complain. I see David is unhinged again. Well, the thing is, you literally just got here, Purple G, and it only just started. So it's not like it was happening the entire time. Already says, I regret mentioning VC. Why? Don't regret it. I mean, come on. It's completely valid to bring up VC. I use it. Come on. I literally use it right before the stream. And yeah, multiple times. Leonic says, people don't get Emacs auto-flagellation. Yes, it's the auto-flagellation mode, which gradually removes more and more things from your Emacs configuration, your init.el file, until you basically have nothing left except for turning off toolbar mode. And even that eventually will go away too. Rex says they aren't built in so much as shipped with. I mean, I guess you're right. Protected also says, I like minimalism, but there's nothing special about the packages that were shipped with Emacs. Well, more and more that's becoming the case. When you got bigger things getting added, like eglot and tree sitter, and eventually Magic will be added to Emacs. Use package has been added to Emacs. However, I guess you can't really say that Emacs is a minimalist environment because it's got so much crap jammed in there from the years, over the years. Like, you know, it's 40 years old. There's a bunch of stuff in there that, like, I would say 90% of the Emacs user base does not use. A lot of stuff in there that people don't use. But it's still like, it's only what you decide to use. It's only what you decide to use, you know, like you can use this that's in there or that's not in there, you know, that comes in ELPA or MELPA or whatever. It's all up to you, man. It's Emacs. You can do whatever you want. And for me, I'm just going to try to use the things that are hard to use just for my own entertainment. Ashra says that derailing the stream is a tradition at this point. It kind of is. It's not really derailing. The whole point of the first 40 minutes is to just, you know, talk. Right? You really want to hear me talking about OpenBSD for 2 hours? Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. I noticed there's no Summer here today, probably because she saw OpenBSD and ran screaming. Let's see what we're talking about here. Ashra says to Redacted, make your life harder, create your own minimal Emacs with almost no packages. And Redacted says, I unironically want to do that. Actually, I want to do that too. I thought about it for a while. There could be some value there, just as a way to kind of clear out all the cruft. But I don't know what's going to break. You never know what's going to break when you start taking things out of the Emacs distribution. Probably not too much, but I would be curious to see how small you could get it. Not because bloat is the enemy, like some people tend to make it. Just out of curiosity. What can you? How much can you take out of Emacs and have it still function? Faye says Summer is actually a BSD user. You mean because of her using MacBooks? I don't think so. Purple G says gaming on BSD. I'm sure it's possible, but I wouldn't want to try it. Astra says, let's create the minimal system crafters Emacs. The Myscree. Myscree. No Namer says, I tried to throw some things out of the Emacs build and failed miserably. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be easy necessarily. Dan says, I want to hear you talk about OpenBSD for 2 hours. OpenBSD is the GOAT. Every open source OS should be stealing, pledge, and unveil. I've been reading about that a little bit recently, and it definitely seems interesting. If someone made a Janet package to actually use the pledge and unveil syscalls from within Janet, for those of you who don't know, it's basically a way to restrict the current process to... it's basically sandboxing the current process and giving it access to only like a subset of the directories on the operating system. So basically it makes it way safer to run your own applications that you've written on OpenBSD if you use this stuff, because even if someone hacks your app, they can't really do much in the system. It's basically the same as being in a container, but without having to use a container. Right, Dan? Did I get that right? Faye said she'd never admit it. Well, why would she? Because it's not really like a really cool thing to admit. Okay. Ashra says, Pledge and Unveil are great. I had to package a product for Debian, and ensuring that your process doesn't use too many privileges is a walk on eggshells, even with systemd service files. Yeah, privileges. That's the thing with Pledge. This is actually a privilege system. So yeah, I want to investigate that a bit more as well. We won't be doing that today. Okay, so today, I would like to talk about OpenBSD. And why would I talk about OpenBSD whenever I usually talk about Guix on this channel? Well, I'm kind of fascinated by the BSDs because it's kind of a different world. I think they draw more directly from the traditional Unix model, even though Linux, is pretty similar, I guess, but BSD systems are typically more straightforward and well integrated, and the various different BSDs have their own strengths and weaknesses. OpenBSD tends to be one that is more geared towards lightweight system configurations plus high security, like kind of secure by default, effectively, with some useful things built into the system without you having to like go install them and configure them separately, like let's say firewall or like a HTTP reverse proxy, or just really an HTTP server. So my interest in OpenBSD is effectively for being a really minimal server OS to host applications that I would want to deploy to a server somewhere. Like on a single VM, effectively. Because a lot of things that a person might write, like a person like me, let's say, they wouldn't be super high-scale applications. So it's not like you really need, like a huge fleet of VMs with a load balancer in front, which you could do that with OpenBSD. There's stuff in there. I think there's like a Relay D or something. It has its own load balancer that you could use. But, a lot of things you could do probably with one server and have everything in one place. I don't know if it's a good idea, but at least for me, like I kind of prefer simplicity if I can get away with it. So something like OpenBSD seems pretty ideal. Now, the problem is I'm used to Guix, which is a Linux distribution that allows you to declaratively configure everything about the system and then basically create a reproducible. Give me 1 second, because I actually just, my screen went to sleep. There we go. Where was I? Yes, with Guix, you can create a completely declarative system configuration and then deploy a server using that. And if you watched any of the recent Crafter Hour streams, it's basically what we did. We wrote an application in Guile Scheme and then deployed it to a server using Guix, where Guix was used as the development platform and also the server platform. And it's pretty cool, but it's also extremely heavyweight when all you want to do is just like deploy a web application to a server. There's so much churn. Password was blue, blue, green, blue, blue, blue. You actually saw that? That's funny. Anyway, it's kind of heavyweight for this process. Now, it's great. I love Guix, but I also like experimenting with other things. So that's why I've been kind of poking around with OpenBSD a little bit as a server OS. I've tried using Debian in the past too, and also Debian's good, but I found it to be a little bit harder to configure because there's multiple options for firewalls, and you know they all are kind of weird to configure in their own ways. Nginx is great as a reverse proxy, and it's pretty much standard, but you know it's a thing that is a pretty large component on its own. I don't know. I just kind of like the fact that OpenBSD has a lot of stuff in the box that is useful for the kinds of things that I want to do, and I'm just kind of curious about looking into it. Now, the relevant thing for us here is, sure, you can go set up an OpenBSD machine to host your application on a VM somewhere. But how do you make the configuration reproducible? With something like OpenBSD, I think it's actually straightforward. I think it will be straightforward to basically take the configuration files that you write and check them in the source control and just symlink them into your /etc folder or wherever else they need to go. And that's kind of the model that I want to try today, which if we have time, we'll get through as much as we can. But basically what we're going to do is try to set up a basic server configuration in OpenBSD, set up the HTTPD server, which is the built-in web server. It's kind of like a minimal Nginx in a way. The configuration kind of looks similar. And then have that be the front end to some kind of simple web application. It's probably going to be a JavaScript app that runs Express because that's like the easiest thing to put together in 5 minutes. I don't think Guile 3. Oh, Guile 3 is on OpenBSD, but well, we could probably do Guile. At any rate, point being, we'll use something to create a web server application and then front it with HTTPD. We'll also use PF, which is basically the packet filter firewall service, to expose only the ports that we're interested in, which really would just be 80 and 443 and whatever port we expose for SSH, probably just 22. And then create a daemon for running the application to make sure that it's there at startup. So it's really just creating a script file effectively and putting it into another file. And that's it. Like there's like 4 files effectively, maybe 5 files we need to configure, and then we could check that into the repository for the application so that when we need to deploy the application, we can just symlink those files using something like GNU Sto or just a normal bash script, symlink that stuff into the etc folder, and then start up the application and just let it go. I don't know how far we'll get, but the idea is to try this approach. I think it should be fine, so long as you're not trying to deploy multiple applications into the server at the same time. If you've got like one VM for hosting one application, it should be pretty simple, I believe. For multiple applications, apparently it is possible to do includes in the HTTPD configuration syntax, so that is a possibility. You could have multiple apps with their own configurations that kind of plug into the overall system config, but I think that would be a lot harder to do, and it's not really relevant to what we're trying to do today anyway, so that's an exercise for another time. So, anything else? Yeah, version controlling the configurations, that's a pretty obvious thing to do. You know, you want to make sure you check in your configurations and Make it so that you can get to them again, and also make sure you track changes over time. The thing that just crossed my mind is I was thinking, can I actually check in the enabled state of a service? I mean, I think you can. One of the benefits of something like OpenBSD is that a lot of the stuff that you need to remember, like services being defined and being enabled and whatnot, I think they're all in the text-based configuration files, so it's easier to replicate that, I think. We'll find out. If we have time, which we probably won't, we'll look into using answer files to automate the actual system installation. So for setting up an OpenBSD machine, they actually provide something called an answer file, which is effectively just a text file that has the answers to all the questions that you were asked through the OpenBSD installation process. And if you haven't seen that process before, we did it probably in May, I think. And you'll probably see it right now too. You basically just get dropped into a terminal application for installation where it just asks you a bunch of questions and you answer them, and then it installs a system. The answer file is literally just you automating the answers to those questions so that you can set up a system. And if you have an answer file set up on a server somewhere that is accessible through an HTTP URL, then you can give OpenBSD that as a kernel parameter when you boot up the installer, and it's able to like just get the answers from that and set up the system more or less unattended. But that only gets you to the initial installation. After that point, you still have to be able to run scripts, which I think you could automate that using a script that's like calling into scripts that you've put there via SSH, but it's a bit more work, especially comparing something like Ansible, like Leonix mentioned. So it's definitely not like Ansible. Answer files are very basic. Very, very basic. Praveen says, are you doing configuration in Guix? No, we're doing it only in the actual configuration file format of OpenBSD for the different components that we're looking at. Okay. So let's get into it then. Let me make sure I push the right key bindings here. So first of all, we need to get OpenBSD running on here again. We've done it before. I probably still have a VM somewhere. I don't even know where I would have put that. Open, who knows? Let's just start over. So OpenBSD, let's just download the ISO. I also think we had followed some instructions by Joshua Branson, Guix OpenBSD. I'm pretty sure that's where I had seen this. Oh, OpenBSD QEMU. Let's see, where is... QEMU. I swear I saw this. Kind of want to read some of these posts. After boot OpenBSD, what's that? Am I missing it? I swear it's on his website. Okay, installing OpenBSD on a VM. Got it. So, got to create an image first. Let's get that download started. Download, install 77.iso. There's a .image file as well. Let me see what he said. Use the cd71.iso file. Oh, cd77. File sets are not included. I think we kind of want file sets though. Guess it doesn't matter. How big is it? I don't know. I'm kind of curious. We could try it. How big is that? Let's see. We have install 77, which was 782 megabytes. This one would be No way, 11? I guess you need the internet to make that work. Okay, so installing OpenBSD on a Guix VM. Why OpenBSD instead of FreeBSD? FreeBSD is, I'm going to say something completely uninformed and possibly heretical, but I feel like FreeBSD is meant more as a user's BSD. It's for a person who wants to use BSD as a daily driver machine. Nope, there's probably plenty of people who use FreeBSD for servers, but it seems really well made for like actual usage as a desktop environment, like a productivity system. And I have installed it before. It was great. I liked it a lot. I got a pretty nice system set up with very minimal effort. I found that the documentation was really good too. So it's nice. Redacted says FreeBSD is for noobs. I didn't say that. I mean, I can see why you would think I said that, but I didn't say that. FreeBSD is like, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but it's kind of like the Ubuntu for BSDs. I don't know about the other ones, you know. I don't know what NetBSD is like. I haven't tried that one yet. I don't know what Dragonfly is like, but definitely FreeBSD seems like the one that is the most user-friendly. And that's not a bad thing, okay? But as I mentioned before, when you get bored, just make your life harder, and then you will solve your boredom problem. So using OpenBSD in a way is an approach to cure my boredom. All right, so install BSD, canceled. Yes, I'm canceled now. I mean, there's so many things I've said that probably don't make people happy, so whatever. And it's all just, you know, ridiculous stuff anyway. Let's see, projects, code, OpenBSD server. I don't know, dude. Let's see, what was it called? Install bsd.sh. I'll save it. Yes, create the folder. We got the file. Let me just copy this. I know I'm just copying and pasting from someone's blog post, so sue me. What do we got here? Host forward. We need to create the image as well. And I think he's got something here for that. 100 gigs, that's too much. I don't need that much. I need like, what, 10? Probably. So let me just get a MetaX shell going up in this thing. Okay, so blop 10G. Okay, so we got one here. We got an image file. And CD-ROM, we want to put this as, well, actually, let's move it. Move downloads. Wrong tilde key. Downloads, was it CD77? All right, so we're going to say CD77. It's only needed once anyway, so it's not a big deal. Then we need to run BSD script. Okay, and we've got the qcal file there. SMP2. 4 gigs of RAM. I mean, do we need 4 gigs of RAM? For God's sake, it's pretty minimal, right? Okay, so chmod x star.sh. There we go. Let's say install. Well, no, let's not do that here. Let's go into a foot terminal for this because I don't know that Emacs is going to cope well with the installation process. So, projects, code, OpenBSD, and then we're going to run the installation script. SMP2, bad option. Just because there's no space. Hello. All right, let's see what happens here. Okay, so boot. Boot failed, cannot read the boot disk. There we go, we're loading up the CD now. Let me see if I can zoom this in as well. View, zoom to fit. There we go. Is that legible? Check and reset the date. Fine. All right, so here we are at the basic installation again. Install, upgrade, auto install, or shell. The auto install thing is what I was talking about before. If you had an answer file, I think it would do that. But we're just going to press I to install. I don't care about the keyboard layout. It's going to be the default one. System host name, Crafter. I don't know. Available network interfaces. I'll stick with the one that's there. I don't know if that's the right one. Autoconf that. No IPv6. Don't really care. Just pick done. I don't know. Yeah. Password for root account. Let's see. ABC123. Yes, I should have done a poll. ABC123. That is not my root password. Start SSH. Yes. Do you expect to run X Windows? No. Change the default console to COM0. I don't know what that means. Set up a user. No. Allow root SSH login. Let's see. Prohibit password. I would do that, but not right now with a test system. That would only be good if you already had the SSH key for the root user ready to like paste in here, I think, or in an answer file. What time zone are you? Yeah, just pick that one. Which is the root disk? SD0. Encrypt the root disk with a passphrase. No, we don't want to do that. Let's do hold disk. Let's use the auto layout. I don't care too much about the usage there. Let's see, location of sets, path name of the sets, sure. Location of sets, is it gonna make me, yes. So it only has like the root set apparently. Maybe that's fine. We'll see how far we get with this. We may have to do a different CD. That's interesting. BSD.rd. Done. Yes. It already installed it, so why isn't it considering itself done? Oh, done. I already installed it, didn't I? Okay. Let's start over. Exit. I think we will start over. It does appear that we need to have a more complete image. Get out of the terminal. There we go. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to delete the HD0 image. I'm going to go back and recreate it again. If it's in this terminal, is it in here? Or did I do it? Oh, no, I did it in the other one. That's in shell, meta p. There we go. We're going to create that again. Move. Come on. That tilde key being in the wrong place in the Happy Hacking keyboards is really like screwing me up. Install 77. We're going to put that here. Got it. And then we're going to make this install 77. I'm such a failure. Okay, so run install again. We'll just let it do its job. Let me check the chat while I'm waiting on this to go up again. Purple T says, I feel like I went back in time because you saw the terminal output. Yeah, it does look a little bit old, doesn't it? Redacted says, we need a stream where he hooks up IRC to the VM and has chat try to install an OS. Oh, we should do that for sure. Install. Keyboard layout default, hostname crafter, VO1, autoconf, none, done. Will not echo. I remember we used that password. ABC123, ABC123. Yeah, start it. No, 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 yes, no, hold disk, auto layout, CDO, path name of the sets. All right, let's get rid of game 77. Because who needs games in this thing? What the hell, dude? Oh, or you want me to type in the ones I want? BSD? Comp 77? I don't know. How am I supposed to do this? BSD, BSD.mp. How do you uncheck them? Do I, oh, minus, because I'm an idiot, game77, game77.tgz. There we go. All the X ones, minus X star.tgz. Hell yeah. All right. The rest I think is good. Thank you, S-Copy, for bringing it up. Thank you to Judy for another month of Twitch subscription. Appreciate it. I feel like such a streamer now. All right, set names, border done. I think we're good, right? Like, we need man pages. I don't know what's in base 77, but I think we need comp 77. It's got the compilers in it. Yes, continue without verification. I don't know why it matters. And hello to Judy, and hello to Alejandro. Nice to see you, Alejandro. What did I miss over here? Rudy Shoes says, can you recommend any great IDE for coding? It's mostly VS Code, JetBrains, NeoVim, or Vim. Are you really, is that a joke question, or are you serious? Because this channel is like all about Emacs, and you didn't even mention Emacs. I feel so sad that Emacs was not even given a passing glance. I don't know, man. Like, I just use Emacs. The rest are fine too. It really just depends on what you want. I mean, I think Felinox asked, what are you missing from those editors? And Rudy says, NeoVim has key bindings and it's pretty annoying to type the colon every time I want to save something, and VS Code is too heavy to code with. I don't really know if there's like a middle ground. Maybe Sublime Text? Does anybody use that anymore? Glenn says, David Will being trolled. I don't know. I'm not sure that I think it's a legitimate question. Robert says, I thought this was a Visual Studio channel. Yes, we don't use VS Code in this channel. We use the actual Visual Studio, but not the latest one, whatever that one is. We use Visual C++ 6.0 from 1996. I actually did use that. No Namer says Zed. Yeah, Zed is probably like the best middle ground option right now. I haven't really used it that much, but it is pretty fast, and it's kind of got that same kind of mentality that Adam had. Edit.exe. Don't bring that up again, Cal. Come on now. You know better than that. We're not talking about edit.exe in here. You know, what was I looking for? I was setting up Ubuntu on my wife's computer the other day, and I was looking in the Snap Store for applications. I can't remember what I was looking for in there, but I did see that the freaking edit.exe app is in there. Like, they got that in the Snap Store, but they don't have other things. What's going on? Hey, Tomas. Tomas says, set comment prompt read only for Emacs shell so you can't delete the prompt. Yeah. I probably should do that, right? Alejandro says, Sublime Text is so sublime that it just sublimated in the air. Yes, it basically just disappeared, right? Uncle Jay says, what's with the 777 in the packages? The year BSD split from Unix system B? No, it's OpenBSD 7.7. That's what it's all about. It sure is taking a lot longer now. These packages are pretty big. 483 megabytes for the base one. Are we done yet? Thank you. Location of sets, we're done now. Oh, once again, wrong computer. We're done now. Press enter. Are we done? Where's the mouse? Thank you. We're done. Relinking to create unique kernel. Security measures, I guess. LeftPad says a big package. No, that was like a bunch of packages, apparently. What happens when they get the major version 77? I don't know if we'll all be alive by then, so we probably won't have to deal with that problem. Yeah, maybe it would be 770, as Ashraz says. Probably. Tomas says, 77 is my birth year. Well, this is the OpenBSD release for you, then. You should try it out. Come on now, how long does it take to create a unique kernel? I feel like we're waiting for entropy to be generated to generate an SSH key or something. I guess that's a problem, though. I mean, do they only ever have a single digit point release. If they had double-digit point releases, then you would never know where the decimal was supposed to go. Ashra says, why does it need a unique kernel? I think that they're doing that to, it's like address layout randomization, I'm guessing, so that there's no consistent location for certain exploitable things in the system. So you can't make a generalized exploit that you can just run on any OpenBSD machine to hack the kernel effectively. I'm guessing. Yeah, compile time, KALR. Yes, kernel address layout randomization. Yes. All right, exit the shell, halt, or reboot. Let's reboot. See, it's very easy to install OpenBSD. You just press enter a bunch of times, and wow, you got a system that's set up. So why would I even bother trying to automate this, right? Judy says they may also link a lot of stuff into the kernel depending on your config to avoid linking dynamically. Possible. Okay, so let's zoom in on this thing. Whoa, where'd it go? Best fit. Nope. Zoom to fit. There we go. We're trying to update firmware here, apparently. Are we done yet? There we go. Root. You have mail. You've got mail. So, package add Emacs. Gimme some Emacs. I got work to do. No X11, that's for sure. They got Emacs PGTK though, which is weird. I didn't think they had Wayland in OpenBSD. Do they have Wayland? Where am I? Where is Workspace 2? There it is. OpenBSD Sway. Ah, really? Was that a year ago? Well, damn. How about that? I might set up an OpenBSD machine at some point, people, and try to put Sway on there. Okay, so we got Emacs. I'm going to put Git on here if it's not already here. And then let's see if we can install Guile. Try to do a little Guile server, just like a simple hello world thing. And then once we've got that, then we can start doing some of the other configuration stuff that I was talking about. Alejandro says recompiling the kernel. Yeah. Leftbat says, where am I? Well, hopefully in Athens. Well, yes, I'm not that old yet where I'm doing like the old Alzheimer's where am I type situation, but maybe I am. It's getting close. Sure, it's taking a long time to extract this damn thing. I'm getting bored just watching this thing. Come on now. Robert says, since you're using BSD, shouldn't you be using the MIT scheme? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't really know MIT scheme, though, and I don't know if they have a built-in HTTP library either, so... 2212. Apparently I was typing the whole time. Emacs. So, ANSI term. Can I not press Alt-X? The hell is happening? Huh? Where is Alt? What is happening? If I can't type Alt, then I can't do anything. And now I'm screwed because... Okay, there we go. Good. Jeez. Alt-X. You can use Escape X instead of Alt-X. That is okay, I guess. Cool. All right, at least I can do find file and the other things. Yes, all right, great. Hey, Peter. Peter says, back from recycling and running, compiling kernels like the ancient Greek. I don't know, but we are looking at some pretty ancient-looking stuff here. So escape X ANSI term. We'll use the K shell. Is Git on here? No. So package add Git. Let's get rid of this silly little menu as well. I'm going to have to get out of ANSI term just so I can use escape X. Menu bar mode. Just get out of here. You know, this is the situation. This is the exact situation where I want to use my... come on. Control-Alt-G, it says. Control-Alt-G. There we go. Dot files. Dot files. There we go. I want to grab my init.el file that's here already and just use it directly without having to like, well, I guess I could clone the repo, but I don't even know what that was. Dot tab. It's the first thing it found with Google. I've never seen this restaurant before. Who knows? Okay, anyway, let's go in here. ANSI term, ls, git clone, hbs, github.com/davidwill/ dot files. Dot files. See you, Purple G. Okay, so what I wanted to do, ls, what did I do on my other machine? I know I'm kind of like wasting time doing this, but I'm just kind of curious. I swear, the tilde key is killing me. Emacs.d. Yeah, I just linked init.el in there. I think that's what happened. So I'll do that here too. Whoops. Right there. Okay, so. No, I don't need to do that. Okay. So lnsf dot Emacs, is that right? The right place. I swear this will be worth it. Dot files / Emacs. I've got two different sets of Emacs configuration files in my dot files repo. I need to clean that up because it's a little bit confusing. All right, so for God's sake. This is awful. Okay, got the init.el file there. So let's go into .emacs.d init.el. We're going to eval the whole buffer. Yes. Eval buffer. Toolbar mode is not in terminal Emacs. Toolbar mode. This is totally pointless by this point. Oh, God. Fine. Okay, I think we're there now. Whatever. So, URL says OpenBSD Emacs. Thanks, David. OpenBSD doesn't support the Vertio stuff from QEMU. I don't know. Am I trying to use it? I don't remember. Why do we use Emacs on OpenBSD itself and don't just tramp into the VM? Why would I want to do that? I want it to look like this. It's a good idea. So, first of all, we're going to look at, well, let's package add. I think it's Guile 3. There we go, 3.0.9. Makes sense. Ravine says, your opinion on Nix is great. It's fine. But I don't use it because I like Scheme. Let me go grab a quick example of Guile web server. Ah, yes, that's right. I made a video about that. Thanks, Ashraz. I forgot already, apparently. Okay, so we got handlers. I'm going to do that right there. Fade says, this is system crappers. This is what we do for fun. Yes, banging our head against the wall with terminal applications. Okay, so we got Guile. Is it literally Guile 3? Okay, fine. Guile 3.0. Cool. Great. It's there. Make dear. I don't know, dude. And we're going to go into this OpenBSD web app folder and say main.scm. We're going to drop in. Can I paste in here, or am I literally going to have to type everything like a caveman? I think there's a way to paste, right? Like it types it in for you. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Anyway, I'll type it, because why not? Run server handler, HTTP, web server. So, use modules. Web server. I'm literally going to return hello world. I don't care, okay? Ryan says, is there a video explaining why OpenBSD? Just for fun. Like, this is like the second time I've talked about it. Okay, and then run server. We're just going to give this a little shot here. We're going to try to hit it with curl probably and see what we get. The handler with a request and the body as its arguments. Okay, so that's all it is. Run server handler, and I'm going to put it on 8080. I don't know if it's 88. Oh, is it default? Great, even better. So we're going to go back into the code and we're going to say lambda request and body, and I'm just going to return hello world. I think I need to do some more than that though, if I'm not mistaken. I think I need to put what's it called? Judy says, well, there is the April Fool switching to FreeBSD. Yeah, then it became real. I tried it, and I would have stuck with it if it wasn't for my employer at the time not supporting it. Values. The response as a response record. Let me go find that because I forgot what the syntax is like for that. Responses. Give me example. Give me now. Values. Boom. That's even better. How about that? Wow, I can't even copy and paste it for God's sake. Okay, so values, content type, text plain. And I think that was a quoted form, yes. And there was a third, yep, there, and then hello world, and then we've got the lambda closed off, and then we got the run server closed off. That should be enough to get a basic server running. So if we go back over to ANSI term, say guile main.scm, let me unlock the other computer now. Guile 3.0 main.scm. Okay. If I use Control U, okay. Control U, ANSI, oh, give me a break. Control U, ANSI, I can't hit Alt. Control U, escape X, oh my God. Control U, escape X, ANSI term. There we go. Curl, HTTP localhost 8080. Hello world, boom. Okay, so something's coming out. Great. So now we at least know that it's possible to hit that on localhost 8080. So next thing would be to set up the HTTPD configuration. So let's see, OpenBSD HTTPD configuration. We just need a simple reverse proxy. In fact, I should probably be looking at the man pages. When you're in ANSI term, nothing works like it's supposed to. Manual entry, HTTPD. Oh, God. Got it. I think that is meant only for text info derived man pages. You should tramp into that OpenBSD machine instead. No, we can't do that. Yeah, it's too easy. It's got to be hard. There's no entertainment value if it's not stupid. HTTPD. Thank you, finally. Let's expand that. Okay, so config, is there like a HTTP conf? All right, there we go. There it is, right there. Macros, is this going to be useful or is this going to be really annoying to look at? Leftpad's quoting me, it's not entertaining if it's not stupid. Yes, exactly what I said. Okay, let's not do this. I'm not going to be reading man pages. Someone's show me what to do. Here we go. Basic web server, thanks to the OpenBSD handbook. Listen on star port 80, return 301, reverse proxy. HTTPD reverse proxy. No. OpenBSD. I'm not changing the Dvorak. It's not happening. Okay, we're listening on port 80. Oh, fast CGI is like a plugin. Does it know about that already? I'm not doing that, am I? Pass, okay. That's too much information. Give me a simple example. I'm dumb. Okay, listen on 8080 location. Ah, that's not what I want. This is just setting up Acme client. Anyway. Is it Relay D that I need to do that with? I thought it was HTTPD. Is it? Oh, no. Forward to HTTPD port 8080. That doesn't work though, does it? Oh, okay. So it's defining HTTPD as the IP address. Interesting. There's got to be a way to do that, though, isn't there? I'm pretty sure I saw an example of this somewhere. OpenBSD, HTTPD, forward request to application. Rewrites and redirects. Is that what it is? It's a rewrite? I don't want a 302 because you can't get to that. It literally needs to proxy the request. Okay, so OpenBSD relay D. Am I just not getting this right? Delay and dynamically redirect incoming connections to a target host. Load balancer, application layer, gateway. Well, that's what it sounds like, right? Or a transparent proxy. Maybe I'm wrong. Able to monitor groups of host availability. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so OpenBSD simple reverse proxy relay D. Relay D. Tutorial. Yes, give me a tutorial because, like I said, I'm dumb. HTTP proxy with filtering. That's cool. I just want it to be a proxy. Forward to web host. That's cool. Port, web port, mode load balance. Check HTTP code 200. Ashra says, why aren't we looking through documentation? I'm trying to set up a reverse proxy with one of the built-in things in OpenBSD. I thought HTTPD was going to be the thing to do that with, but apparently it's Relay D that I'm doing. Why are we proxying? Because I have a Guile scheme application that returns hello world that I want to proxy requests to. Because I don't want to expose a Guile scheme application or any other type of application directly to the internet. So we're trying to use something that's built in as a proxy, sort of like how you would do with Nginx. Simplest HTTP relay. Thank you. Oh my God, someone got it. Pass, relay, listen on, well, the localhost, forward to localhost. There we go. So let's do that. This is going to be etc. relayd.conf, right? What did I just do? There we go. Okay, so slash etc. slash relayd.conf. God damn it. I can't paste. So what we saw there was is proxying going to help? If there's a vulnerability in your app, it's still getting HTTP requests from an untrusted network. Yeah, but the idea is that you have a very simplistic implementation of an HTTP server that you don't really want to put on the internet because it can't do a lot of things. It's not that I don't trust it, it's just that it's simplistic. So it's not like a legitimate web server. It's just meant to facilitate hosting an application. Then the actual web server or proxy will take care of other things for you, like let's say SSL termination. Because I don't think I want to try to put an SSL cert directly on the HTTP server running in the Guile application. There's the various reasons why you would want to do that. SSL termination, filtering out certain types of requests or headers, caching. Like there's a lot of different things you might want to do that with. And Nginx is typically what people are using for that. Peter says maybe a tad bit overkill, but I'm trying to like replicate a real situation, even though this is a really stupid example. HTTP protocol www pass. Yes, I've forgotten how to type. It's true. I just don't know why it's not indenting the right way. Why are you not putting it back where it belongs? Skeptical of the security. I get that. I get that. All right, so now relay www, listen on Thank you, Ashraz. 127.0.0.1, port 80. And then forward to 127.0.0.1. I know I screwed that up. Is that right, though? No. There we go. I know this seems cheesy as hell. I know it seems cheesy as hell. That's okay, though. So we're going to go back to ANSI term. And then, whoops, let's leave that up. ANSI term 2. So what was that? RC control. Status. Okay, RC control start relay D. Cool. Now we're going to curl HTTP localhost 80. Hello world. Cool. So the reverse proxy is working. Okay. I know that's a really cheesy example, but it works at least. The other thing would be, like, if you got part of your website and you wanted to serve static files, and the other part is your application that may be on a different port, you can also try to relate to either of those. I don't know how well that works with Relay D, but it definitely works with Nginx. So you could have your HTTP server serve your static files in a more efficient way than your Guile-based server could do. You let the Guile server just focus on dynamic requests and not serving static files. This is the way that I would do it anyway. Okay, so we got Relay D set up. What else did we want to do? Like HTTPD? We could set up a static endpoint, I guess. So OpenBSD HTTPD serve static files. I don't know. Self-hosting a static site. What time is it? Okay, we got time. Alejandro says, why not install Guix instead of OpenBSD? Just because I want to try OpenBSD. There's no special reason why. I see. Where's it pulling from? htdocs? Does it do it by default? Ah, nice. There's a website for this? Sweet. Okay, that's a cool website. HTTPD rocks. Let's put that in the show notes, because this I haven't read it yet, but it looks like it's meant to be the place to go. Oh, is that what it is, Ashraz? Thank you, dude. Okay, so resources. Okay, let's go back. So we're gonna pull up. Leonic says, who needs tmux screen when you have Emacs? Exactly. So static slash foo.html. You're seeing some real amazing application development taking place right now. I'm really testing my knowledge of HTML. BSD is dying? I don't know, is it? And what does dying mean? You could just build your app in Emacs as redacted. I guess I could, right? We already have Guix installed here. Yes, I'm using Guix to do this abomination. Okay, so we got a foo.html. We will go now to etc/httpd.conf. Is that right? All right, and what Ashra said is, oh, redirect? Oh, that was the old one. Where's the new one? Server. There's also default. I don't really care, default. Maybe the name doesn't mean anything. I don't really need the alias, do I? Listen on star, port 8081. Root. Root slash open. What was the file called? I've already deleted it or closed it. Root slash OpenBSD slash static. Damn it. OpenBSD web app. Okay. Let's see if that works. So back over in ANSI term 2, I can say RC control enable HTTPD, RC control start HTTPD. Failed. HTTPD, there's a validation parameter, I think. -N. Syntax error line number 3. What did I do wrong? Listen on star port 8081. Do I need the alias? Andy says, is BSD dying? WTF, it's more alive than ever. Let's see. Root. Listen on star. Quotes, is that why? Okay, thank you. This is why I never code without a live stream. I literally never write code unless there's a live stream going, because otherwise... And I know I shouldn't put the files there, whatever. What is the actual permissions I should put on the folder? There we go. Set the proper permissions. Chmod 755. Root. Okay, and then what was the other one? It was chmod. Was it change group? What was that? No, chown. Whoops. All right, so now we got that. I think we should be able to start the server now. Okay, so... And then Perl. There it is. Wait, not found. I don't care too much. At least you can get a 404 page. Yeah, I could do Chmod from DRED. You're probably right, actually. Okay, so things are more or less working. What was the other thing I wanted to do? There was in relay D. There's like sublocations. That's cool. And you can get different root file paths. So what we got so far? I guess what I'm trying to do is have 2 different endpoints. Not really a big deal. Doesn't have to be done. I'm just trying to see what we can do here. www pass. I see. Okay, and we're saying what the protocol is inside of the Not rewrite rules. I would like to... I guess I could. Maybe it's pointless. Okay, so let's stop where we're at because it does work. There's one thing I want to do, which is try to move these files into the quote-unquote code repository. Okay. Oh, the PF thing was the other thing I wanted to do as well. So I'm writing stuff in. This is really getting messy here. Let's see. Okay. Yes, left pad. Exactly. That's where we're headed right now. Right now. So let me get out of this file. I'm going to go over to, let's kill it actually. And then HTTP conf. says, do y'all watch this live inside Emacs? Nobody watches it in Emacs. They watch me in Emacs, but they don't watch it from Emacs, I don't think. All right. So what I want to do, etc. relay. In fact, I need to make dir. Let's move it actually. So RC control stop relay D. Okay, so what we've got here is a folder called config. And under config, it's basically just replicating the file path of the root machine, and it has httpd.conf and relay.d.conf. What about rc.conf.local? I mean, what's in there? Got it. So that basically turns both of those two services on. So I can also move that into etc. Okay, so package add stow. Stow should be here, right? Okay. Excuse me. And I got to figure out the right target location to put this now. Let's see, man. Oh, I got it. ANSI term. I'm in another ANSI term. Fantastic. Let's see. Stow. All right, great. Examples. Wait a second. What was that? Okay, target directory here to be installed. Show me the example command invocations, please. You used to watch his Emacs videos. What about now? I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm seeing a bunch of text and no clear examples. What are we looking at? A package directory is the root of a tree containing the installation image for a particular package. Each package directory must reside in a stow directory. Package directory stow Perl must reside in the stow directory stow. Okay. Let's just look at the output of the program. Okay, so stow T, target dir, set target dir to default is parent of stow dir. So if I do T in the root directory, here, where are we? So, stow T slash config ls etc. I see relay.conf ls al etc. Relay d. There we go. Now rc control start relay d. RC control start HTTPD, and I should be able to curl HTTP localhost 80 and get the hello world back. So, that's basically it. You just use stow to do it. And if I were to pull that invocation back up again that I had used, so let me just write that down in the show notes in case anybody actually cares. First, create a folder inside of your repository called config or something like that. Then move the relevant configuration files from etc. like http.conf or relayd.conf into a subfolder of config named etc. The config folder is now considered a package in terms of GNU stow. So you can use the command stow t/config to symlink all of the files under config in their corresponding paths to the root file system. And Leonix says you can also create stow RC, and inside it you could put the configuration there so you can just run stow. That's cool too. So that's kind of it. Like, since you're just using normal text-based configuration files that don't have to get generated by something, you can just check them into your repository and use a tool like stow to symlink those into the location in the system configuration folders like /etc. And it's much easier, I think, on OpenBSD because they're kind of set up that way. Let me go double check. Oh, I didn't do a daemon yet for the app. You kind of want that. Let me actually go kill the app that's running. So if I go over to Crafter, here, let's just kill this. Come on. Control C, Control K. Like, what? I'm just going to kill the ANSI term because what the hell? Okay, so the last thing is I'm going to go over to /root/ oh, come on. And what was it that I wanted to do? The daemon. So config / etc. And I need to remember creating an OpenBSD daemon. There we go, daemons. Yeah, how do I make my own? I know I got to put a script somewhere. I think it's in... No. rc.d. Yeah, so we got HBD here. Let me just rip it off. How about that? Yeah, all I want to do is copy it. Read only. I'm using the copy command. All right, so Guile app. Are you serious? I'm using Alt W. Why does it think I'm trying to kill that text? Meta question mark doesn't use it. Escape W. Oh, is that what it is? Again. Can't you have X11? Sure, I could have it, but I don't want to. This is a server. What would I do without Ashras here? Let's just get rid of the stuff that's not needed. Demon. So where is Guile? That's, huh? Which? User local bin. And then that would be root OpenBSD web app main.scm. Is that going to work? Daemon flags. I see people talking about Emacs application framework. I personally don't see the point in it for me. That's just me. I don't even know. Is this needed? Oh, right, the N. Got it. So let me just get rid of this. I probably should put it in daemon flags, though. Okay. That's supposed to be there. The subroutine thing. Okay, does it like that? RC exec. Let's take that N out. What did I just do? Hopefully this will work. Okay, so we got Guile app, right? We're gonna go into the ANSI term here. RC control start Guile app. What did I see for the chmod on that? 0555. I don't know if that matters. Doesn't exist. Is that what I had called it? Yeah. I wonder if I can't have a hash in the name. I don't see any hashes in anybody else's name. Probably that's why. So that's not promising. Kind of just sitting there. Am I supposed to make it background itself? Let's see if there's actually a... What the hell, man? Yes. What a damn nightmare. Yeah, I just want to use meta X, ANSI term. Okay. Guile. It's not even there. It's getting hung, isn't it? All right. That makes sense. For whatever reason, the application still seems to hang when it starts. Okay, so it's running. It just hangs. I wonder if it's supposed to be backgrounded. How would it know, though? Parsing controls, stop. Guile app. Is an OpenBSD daemon process supposed to be run in the background? Because daemons need to run in the background, they have to start or be started differently than other programs. Background. Maybe that's not relevant. Let's just try it. I don't know, dude. I don't know if it's going to actually be worthwhile here, but we'll try it again. Guile app. This is the last thing I'm going to do because I got to get out of here. But let's put an ampersand here at the end. Huh? Read only. Did I make it so I can't actually edit the file? Let's just do that. That's probably not the right thing to do. All right, and then failed. Okay, anyway, that's it. That was interesting, right? Maybe it was only interesting to me as a person who's just sort of curious about why one would want to do this in the first place. But I think it's kind of cool to try using a different operating system a little bit, maybe one that's a little bit simpler. There's a key thing that I'm missing here that obviously I'll have to figure out, but if you don't need super heavy duty features like the things that are in Nginx, or if you don't need like all the stuff that comes along with a Linux distribution like Debian or anything else, then maybe OpenBSD could be a simple platform for deploying applications for you. Obviously, it takes a little bit more effort to figure things out, but probably not too much more effort. I think that, you know, a pretty decent little hosting environment can be put together with probably a couple hours more work than what I just did here, kind of on the fly on the stream. So I don't know, it's cool. I might continue using it just to see how things are, because like I said before, Guix does its job really well, but I don't know, it takes a very long time to build all the stuff necessary for deploying a system. And there's just something to the idea of just running a bash script that deploys all the files to the machine and then runs a little local deployment script that, you know, sets up all the necessary local files and restarts the services, and you're done without having to like build the whole world to do that. Not to say anything bad about Guix, but you know, the dev loop is a bit slow at times. So let me just make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. Thomas was telling me Control-X, Control-J to jump to DRF from the conf file, and M to change the mode. Yeah, normally I do that, Control-X, Control-J, but I just didn't do it then. I feel a little bit like, I feel like I'm in an alien environment a little bit with this, even though I still have all the muscle memory for the Emacs key bindings, but it's kind of it's kind of weird. Alejandro says OpenBSD VPS. I just created one on Vultr the other day just because that was the easiest one to get to, but they pretty much all support OpenBSD because it's pretty easy to host, I think. So I don't know, pretty much anybody would have it. Peter says, nice trip to memory lane to the OpenBSD versus NetBSD times. I should check out NetBSD, maybe not on the stream, but definitely for myself, just as a curiosity, because I don't really know what's different about it. But at least for me, OpenBSD seems pretty cool, just as a simple thing. All right, well, I'll try to get the files that I created here put into the show notes so you can check those out. I don't know if I'll be able to because I can't copy things in and out of here. I'll have to type them, so we'll see. But hopefully that was interesting, maybe fun. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it in the comments or in the IRC. Next week, I might not be here next week. And I might not be here the next 2 weeks after that because I'm going to be on vacation in a place where I don't have easy access to good internet or the ability to set up a streaming setup. So this may be the last stream for a few weeks. I'll keep you posted on that and let you know. But I will be back probably the middle of August for sure, but probably not next week and the week after. So if you are going on vacation, if you're in Europe, you're probably going on vacation pretty soon. Maybe in America you are too. If you are, have a happy vacation, great time, you know, get some sun. Try not to get too hot out there because it's pretty hot these days. And have some fun hacking on your computer and maybe have some fun with your family too, if that's the kind of thing you do. So thank you all for being here today. Really appreciate your time and attention. And until next time, happy hacking. We'll see you. And by the way, thank you very much, Ashraz, for all the help. I appreciate it, man.